You told yourself this time would be different. Different person, different story, different ending. But somehow it feels the same. The same pull, the same intensity, the same kind of person who makes your heart race and your mind restless. And deep down, there's a quiet question you don't want to face. Why do I keep falling for the same person over and over again? Not literally the same face, but the same pattern, the same emotional experience, and it never ends the way you hope. It usually starts like this. You meet someone new. At first, it feels almost familiar, not in a boring way, in a magnetic way. They say things that hit you deeply. They behave in ways that feel strangely comforting or exciting. You feel seen or challenged or needed, and your mind whispers, "This is it." You ignore the small red flags because this time it feels different enough to believe. But then slowly, the pattern returns. They become distant or inconsistent or emotionally unavailable. And suddenly, you're not calm anymore. You're thinking about them constantly, replaying conversations, waiting for messages, trying to understand what changed. You start giving more, trying harder, adjusting yourself. And without realizing it, you're back in the same emotional place you promised you'd never return to. Think about the last few people you felt strongly attached to, not just liked, but needed. What did they all have in common? Don't answer quickly. Really think. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not falling for them randomly. You're falling for a feeling your brain already knows, a pattern it recognizes, even if that pattern hurts you. Because your brain doesn't choose what's healthy, it chooses what's familiar, and familiarity feels like love, even when it isn't. Most of this starts long before those relationships. It starts in the way you first learned what connection feels like. If love felt inconsistent, if attention had to be earned, if you had to adjust yourself to feel valued, then your brain quietly created a blueprint, a definition of love that says, love is something you chase, love is something you prove, love is something you might lose. So when you meet someone who is emotionally unpredictable, your brain doesn't panic. It recognizes, and recognition feels like connection. That's why calm, stable people sometimes feel boring. Not because they are, but because they don't activate that old emotional pattern. There's no chase, no anxiety, no emotional roller coaster. And without realizing it, your mind says, this doesn't feel right, even though it's probably the healthiest thing you've encountered. Let's go deeper. There's another reason you keep falling into the same pattern. It's not just familiarity. It's unfinished emotional stories. A part of you is still trying to fix something from the past. Maybe you didn't feel chosen. Maybe you felt overlooked. Maybe you felt like you had to compete for love. So now, every time you meet someone similar to that experience, your mind sees an opportunity. This time, I'll get it right. This time, they'll stay. This time, I'll be enough. But here's the twist no one tells you. You're not falling for them. You're falling for the chance to rewrite your past. Think about this carefully. Are you attracted to the person or to the possibility of finally feeling chosen? This is why it feels so intense, because it's not just about them. It's about something much deeper, something unresolved. And that's also why it hurts more than it should. Because when it ends, it doesn't just feel like losing a person. It feels like losing that chance, that hope, that what if this time was different. But here's the part that changes everything. You don't break the pattern by finding a different person. You break it by becoming aware of what you're repeating and slowly choosing differently. Not what feels intense, not what feels familiar, but what feels safe, what feels steady, what feels almost unfamiliar at first. Because real connection doesn't make you anxious. It doesn't make you question your worth. It doesn't make you chase. It allows you to breathe. And yes, at first, that kind of connection might feel strange, even uncomfortable, because your brain isn't used to peace. It's used to chaos disguised as love. So the next time you feel that strong pull towards someone, don't just ask, do I like them? Ask something deeper. Why do they feel so familiar? That question might save you from repeating the same story again. And more importantly, it might finally lead you to a different kind of love, one that doesn't feel like a pattern, one that doesn't feel like a struggle, one that doesn't feel like you're losing yourself just to keep it. Because you were never meant to keep falling for the same person. You were just never shown how to choose differently.